This episode of the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast is brought to you by Fodor. Fodor Web, an online photo editing service free to access but with premium features and assets.
Nerd Rage Renegades.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast, episode 189. We are inching ever closer to that historic 200th episode of the show.
Yes, and Cool Bear will be here for that.
Cool Bear will be here once again, our sponsor, Fodor. You'll be hearing more of that later on in the show, so we want to thank them once again. And we're very pleased today. At C2E2, the last day of the con, we were walking around, and I came across a really awesome independent publisher with some awesome books. And I'm happy to have Mr. Chris Sanches here, who is the social media manager for Mad Cave Studios. Chris, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome.
So, how long has Mad Cave Studios been in publication?
That's a tricky question to answer because the company itself has been around since 2014, actually, for 4 years now. But this year we actually just got into Diamond Publishing.
Congratulations! Congrats.
No, it's awesome. Just last year we were actually submitting to be in Diamond, and then once we got it actually really faster than we thought. We're like, oh wait, so now comes the actual work that we need to do.
Now we got to do something.
Now, yeah, and we already had Battlecats and Midnight out, and we already had books out that we went to local cons, even cons. We went to C2E2 last year, even without Diamond Publishing, just going to retailers and just trying to spread the word out on our book. Even before comic book stores can even order our book, really through Diamond. Sort of that grassroots guerrilla way of just getting the book out there to as many people's hands as possible. But then as soon as we got Diamond Publishing this year, we were like, okay, we made a decision. Let's relaunch our books, starting at number 1, and let's have a consistent schedule and keep it going and see and build marketing campaigns and build these books as they were just starting out. When theoretically they've been here and coming out for a couple years now, but kind of what we have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the grind is paying off, man. The stuff looks great from what I'm looking at the press kit, like I said before we started, and man, I'm digging the art styles. I'm digging how clean it looks. Everything looks really clean and professional and awesome. So, congrats on that.
No, and totally. That's the one thing we kind of had to get right.
Yeah. Because
there's the one thing that separates an indie book, a stereotypical indie book, I should say, from a big two, or even professional quality book is the art.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's the one thing where you can point to and be like, that's an indie book. So we don't want that for our books. We want it to be as clean, as quality, as honestly beautiful as possible for people who spend money on our books, and we want them to have a good product.
Right.
Well, definitely, as we were walking through, it was the last day of C2E2, and I saw your booth there, and I think you had one of the Battlecats pictures there on a standee, and it caught my eye because it was a mixture. For me, when I first saw it, it looked like a mixture of Warcraft and Thundercats, and that's right up my alley, that kind of fantasy world. So I was like, I got to check these out. And knowing, especially where you guys were kind of located, because a lot of the indie publishers were kind of off in the like on the other side of the con floor, like by the entrance. You guys were right there, kind of close by. The bigger, like the big two, like DC, Marvel. You guys were really close by there. You had a prime location for having to put your stuff out there. So very much kudos on that, to be able to do that. And I hope that you had a lot of good success at that con.
No, yeah, we definitely at C2E2 we definitely, and that's our second year going there, and we definitely had people coming back to us and be like, oh, we saw you here last year. Like, what do you have this year? And then we kind of had to go through the same process. Like, well, we're starting to relaunch your books, but now, like, you don't have to wait for us to come back next year to get this next dose of Battlecats or next dose of Midnight. You can actually order through the comic store now.
When you were,
it's not.
When you were starting, and like you said, you were going to different local shops, to get these books out there. What is that like for an indie publisher before they get that diamond, certification? Going out there, going to the shops. What was it like for you all? Because you're obviously passionate about the books that you're putting out. What was the process of getting these stores passionate about putting your books on their shelves?
Well, ultimately, the stores are as passionate as comic books readers as we are.
Right.
That's if you're not in this business if you don't love comics.
Right.
That's kind of bottom line. So you just have to show them that you can help them as much as possible. You have to be like, we can promote you guys, we can give you promo materials, we can give you deals on books. Like you just have to help them as much as possible. Right. You have to show that you're as interested as you want them to be interested in your book.
And that's refreshing to hear. Spin, do you remember when we had another podcast before this one, and we had this guy on. Remember the guy that wouldn't promote his own book?
Yeah, I remember.
We had a guy that created an indie comic, and he came on and he did everything in his power to tell us how bad his book sucked and why not to buy it. And we were like, dude, we're trying to help. Come on, help us a little bit. And he kept telling us how bad this book was, and I was like, dude, what do we do? How do we put this show out with this guy? So it's very refreshing to hear that. You got to grind and do it. I mean, this guy just had no interest in promoting his own book. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Well, comic book readers are known for their self-deprecation. Yeah, we're not known as the most confident bunch.
But since you're re-releasing the books, how was the first arc of Battlecats already completed? That before you got the Diamond distribution, and Midnight was already a couple issues in. Yeah,
actually, we Battlecats, the first arc, has been done. We just kind of had to tweak some things here and there, like dialogues, because it's always a revision process,
right?
Really, especially with people like the writer Mark London, who's actually our CEO too.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. He's pulling double duty on that one.
Yeah, he's kind of the headpiece of this organization. He's a perfectionist, as most writers are, and he really has to tweak and like, oh no, that could be better. And especially with reviews coming in, it's like, oh yeah, I didn't catch that. Well, now we have a chance to actually like fix and reorganize the book for what it is and how to make it as best as possible. But to answer your question, Battlecats has been done, Midnight's done, and Nights is about to be done.
And when this show comes out, it'll be Wednesday. Battlecats number 4 will be out today, everybody, if you're listening. May 23rd.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Yeah, May 23rd, Battlecats number 4 comes out, which is a little bit of a departure from the story that was going on 1 through 3. It's sort of like a flashback into the world's history, because the writer himself, he wants this to be a world building, an expansive world, an actual rich fantasy world that isn't just like a carbon stock, like insert dramatic villain. Or, he wants this to live and breathing as much a character as the characters themselves.
Well, like I said, reading it, and I hope after we do this interview, hopefully we can schedule him to come on at some point. so I could pick his brain a little bit as well. Reading it, like I said, when I first saw the book, it really seemed like a mixture of Thundercats and World of Warcraft, two franchises I'm a huge fan of, and especially Warcraft. I mean, that took up like 5 years of my life. I don't even know what happened during those 5 years. I was battling Yogg-Saron and everything. But I'm reading it, and just the creation of the different tribes, and actually this tome that I picked up from you at the con, which is the Battlecats, the tome of Aldaria preview. I mean, the maps of the world and where the different tribes are and what they believe in, these different gods and the Lionborn. It's so in depth. I mean, it's so thought out that I'm sure the lore in Mr. London's head is just. It's like almost his head's like it's probably he's got this big huge head because there's so much lore in there. He just wants to get out from what I'm taking from it. I mean, I'm so excited just from reading the first 2 issues. I want to know more about each of the tribes and this world. And that, I think, is probably in my opinion, and this is coming from me, when you read a comic book, that's what you want, is you want a story and characters that captivate you to the point where you want to read more. You want to know more of their backstory. You want to know where they come from, their ideologies. You don't just want a stock character. And I think with your books at Mad Cave, that's what I'm getting, is I'm getting those characters that I'm starting to get invested in because I want to know, are they going to reveal this next piece in the next issue of their life or this world? And I think that's commendable when you're talking about a comic book, especially when right now, dominated by, well, we know Batman's, story. We know, Spider-Man's story. These are fresh new characters I honestly know nothing about other than first 2 issues and the tome.
Yeah, and exactly. That's what when we first set out to create the world, or even before when we had the idea for the story, or when Mark had an idea for the story, and he sat down to write it, he was like, okay, but how does this work? How this people over here live in this type of environment, so how does that function? And as soon as he went down that rabbit hole, it sort of, you kind of have to build that, and you have to create this world, and you have to create this people, and you have to create this religion and this gods that they worship, because that's it's a product of our own history. Of everyone has a history and everyone has a past, and right. that has to be the same for
right.
or any character in general. They all have to have their own backstory and their own events that they can call back to, even though the reader doesn't know it. The characters themselves know it, and that informs who they are.
Exactly.
Right.
So with starting to get these out at the cons, especially before you got the Diamond, going out there, which I'm sure getting we know getting table space at a convention is a very expensive thing, especially when you're talking about a big one like C2E2. When you go there, you said this year fans were coming back. Hey, what do you got new? What were the responses like when you first started going out there on the con scene with your books? Because I always feel when we as comic book fans go, we want that new, that something different. We may go out there and we may buy, a $200 DC book, but we love picking up these indie books because it's something new. How were the books received by con goers when you were first starting out going out there?
As I said, we always push that the quality had to match, or even succeed at some points as professional, because people can see amateurism. Mm-hmm. That is one thing. Everyone has a filter for it.
Right. And that art is what people see right away. That's the thing that jumps right out of you first.
People read, like we, in most of our, in our cons at the tables, we just have the books open. And that speaks for itself, really, that people just come up to us and be like, oh, wow, that's great art. And then as soon as that hook is in, we tell them the story and the expansiveness of the world and the richness of the characters and the action that it provides and the sort of tenseness of the situations. Because art hooks them in, story gets them to care,
right,
and gets them invested,
right.
And so there needs to be a balance and a quality threshold that you need to reach And so to answer your question again, the con, people at cons, everyone who came up to our booth and actually saw the book in person, they were almost generally like, "Wow, this is something I want to have. This is a book I can get behind, even if they're like not into fantasy. They can still be like, this has quality and this is a beautiful book and the story that you're telling me is engaging." And that's something we always want to do at cons, especially meeting face to face with people, and we can actually get that across.
Do you think that the indie books maybe have even a greater presence at cons, because everybody knows what the big ones are putting out? Do you think that really these cons play so much more to an indie publisher because it is something new, that you guys have better opportunities than, say, Marvel or DC when you go to these type of conventions? Because I know from like Marvel and DC, a lot of times their creators are not at the table. Their people are not at the, you may get like 5 minutes of a creator at a table, but you are always at the table. So do you think it's better for indies at these cons than, say, like the big two?
No, and that was my point that I was gonna bring up. You don't know if you're gonna go to a Marvel booth or an Image booth, you're probably gonna get someone who's just there selling the book,
right,
and not the person who actually knows the material and grinded with the material and actually cares about it. So yeah, I would say generally indies have the actual creators there, have people who worked on it, at least in some capacity, and they're passionate about it. I think the passion is what speaks to it more than like, oh, that's a Marvel book. So because indie creators, they have to be passionate, because if they wouldn't be doing this, they wouldn't be going to cons. They wouldn't make the book in the first place if they weren't passionate about the story they're telling.
Yeah, it is not easy. The con scene and doing that through the con season is not easy. Not for the pros, it's not easy. I can't even imagine, guys. It's really probably not easy, I imagine. But that was one of the things that Spin and I talked about when we got there, is we want to hit these indie publishers, because we already know, we've known for 6 months what Marvel's got coming out. We already know. We know everything. We want to hit all these indie publishers and find out what's going on in that scene. And that was one of the things that we set out to do this year when we went to the con.
I came home, I think, with more indie publisher books than I did actual like Marvel or DC or Image. I came home with, because I hit up Big Dog Inc. that was there. I hit up all you guys, because I'm looking for that something new, and you guys offered it, and I'm interested because you've got, like you said, you got Midnight coming. You've already got the first couple issues of that out. Midnight Task Force, and then of course.
No, actually, sorry to stop on your.
No.
Right now, we only have with Battlecats 4 coming out next week. Okay. We only have issues 1 through 4 of Battlecats out.
Okay, so Midnight's order. Oh, I see this. Orders are for Midnight #1 come out in May. You can order it in May this month.
Yes, you can. They're in previews this month. That's
okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So Midnight #1, July 4th will be when that drops.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Knights of the Golden Sun, that's going to be later on this year, November timeframe.
Yes, November-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one I want to check out. That's right up my alley. That kind of like old biblical kind of adventure, monsters, demons, angels kind of thing. I kind of totally dig that.
It's an angels versus demons book. It's sort of this providence, sort of God leaves the throne basically, and these 400 years of silence, and it's basically the archangels versus the demons that come up all vying for the throne.
Yeah, there's so much in like biblical stuff you could draw from in that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And the artwork looks spectacular. I'm looking at the covers right now, and they look great. Like you said, just it's really quality looking stuff.
Also asking about now up here, also upcoming releases, we have Honor and Curse and Legends of Wolvenheart. Can you tell us a little bit about those two?
Honor and Curse is sort of this supernatural Japanese sort sort of a thriller story.
That's up my alley.
Yeah.
These both look up my alley.
We like a lot of genres. If you can't tell.
No, totally. Yeah, and it's sort of our crazy supernatural Japanese folklore and just samurais fighting. It's one of those. And Woven Heart is sort of a Monster Hunter, sort of a gothic horror book.
I'm looking at that image for Legends of Wolvenheart, and I'm already sold. Okay, already put me down for like the entire run of that book. Whenever it comes out, I want the entire run.
Yeah, and both those titles come out next year.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't have a definite time frame, but they're definitely next year. And yeah, that image of Wolvenheart is one of my favorites that has come out from us. I was like, yeah, nice.
And this is so. What I love about you guys, so from learning about you since C2E2 is, you've got the fantasy book, you've got the kind of techno noir book with Midnight, then you've got the supernatural, you've got the horror, you've got the angels and demons. I mean, literally, you have so many different genres. So there is something pretty much for everyone in those type of people who maybe grown up were fans of the show Supernatural. Knights of the Golden Sun would be right up that alley, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Those fandoms can be drawn right into your books, and I think that's fantastic.
No, we do that as sort of a product to give out because we want to give the customer what they want, and if they don't like fantasy, then Midnight cyberpunk detective story, obviously. If they don't like Angels versus Demons, they Honor and Curse is good for them. We do that as sort of that, but also as a challenge to ourselves, sort of like, why not make a Angels versus Demons book? Why not? Like, we could do this and make it as good and as beautiful as possible. Because comics are all about imagination, and there's no budget besides what you have in your head, and that's what separates it from TV or movies. Is
right.
You can write a screenplay, and if it can't get produced, well, make a comic.
Right.
And not to like, not everyone should do that. Obviously, like comic creators, it's a different thing. But it's saying like there's no budget there unless you got to pay the artist. Obviously,
right.
Pay the artist.
Yeah.
But it's all about imagination. It's all about feeding that childlike wonder that you've had, or that big idea that you've had, but you're like there's no way that's going to get made. Well, in comics, you can provide it.
Now, do you guys have is there any kind of a version you would never, you wouldn't want any kind of unified universe? You want all these books to stand as titles on their own. You wouldn't want to have a unified universe like a Marvel universe or a DC universe. Was that something you guys are just that's no way that's ever going to happen here? Or maybe that's a possibility someday these books will cross over and we'll get maybe, Battlecats with the angels fighting demons.
I can neither confirm or deny that one. I'm gonna take a hard pass on that one.
That's perfect.
I always ask the questions nobody can answer. That's my MO.
You always do. You ask those good questions, and it's always neither confirm nor deny.
That's okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I signed an NDA.
Oh no! Trust. Oh, we know all about that. Every week we get embargoed with reviews. It's like you cannot put this out until this day. Talking about the art, Andy King on Battlecats, his art is fantastic. Were these artists people that you guys knew, or was it more you hired some freelancers? How did you guys find the artists for the different books, or these people that you in house?
Well, with Andy, that was him and Mark. That was their big. Mark started the company, and then he was like, well, I can't really draw, so I need an artist. And he sort of brought in Andy and brought in an entire production team of designers and marketers like myself. Just sort of to build it, because we want this. What Mark wanted, he didn't want a comic, he wanted a company.
Right.
That was his whole thing. So he had to get people around him and get smart people. And so Andy was one of the first people to do that. And yeah, with Battlecats, that was the first like flagship like launch title that we had. And as Mad Cave is today, Andy's really no longer with us. I don't want to say he passed, but no, he's just no longer with the company.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
He's alive. He's alive somewhere.
Yeah, he's alive somewhere.
Yeah. I guess because I guess where my question's coming from is like, with like Marvel or DC, they have those artists that are kind of like, they work for that company or
exclusively.
But with an indie book, you guys don't have that pretty often.
Yeah, because pretty often indie books are mainly like either they're a publisher just publishing someone like the creator's books, or they're just like two guys doing it on themselves. With Mad Cave, it is the company first, and like with Battlecats, Andy's art actually ends with issue 4, and issue 5 is an entirely new artist called Michael Camella.
Okay.
Do you guys have a submission process that you can that new writers and artists can submit to Mad Cave and possibly get a job?
Yeah, we have a submission page. We do require like script and art, like finished pages.
Right.
Because there's a lot of writers out there looking for artists.
You want something that
look at Twitter. You'll never see the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want like an actual product that we can actually see. Like, okay, we know what you're doing here. We see this artist. And to answer your question back on the artists, we actually do have 3 artists in house doing our titles. And that there are artists they're on staff with us. They do the promotional material as well as doing the interiors and covers. Yeah, like Michael Camella's now on Battlecats.
Mm-hmm.
Alejandro Geraldo, he's actually doing Midnight for us, and he actually did colors on Battlecats. And for Knights we have Mauricio.
Yeah, so those Knights covers are fantastic. I can't wait to see the inside the book art.
Yeah, they're really incredible, and all those 3 artists they keep getting better. Honestly, like we're seeing pages come back from like stuff that we really can't talk about, and we're just like, geez, like stop being so good.
Well, you never know what guys coming up. You never know when you're discovering the next Capullo or the next. Who knows? I mean, you never know when you're gonna discover a guy that's just gonna blow up and take off.
We had just a few months ago. We had Magdalene Visaggio on the show, and at that point she had done Kim and Kim, and then like 2 months later she gets a job at DC with Young Animals doing I think it's Eternity Girl, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Chief said, you never know who's going to be the next big thing. You just never know. So
no, yeah, totally. That's I love those stories where it's just like, wait, weren't you on like this random like indie book, and then they're like, oh wait, you write for Marvel now? When did that happen?
Well, real quick, we're going to take a pause for the cause, and we're going to hear about our sponsor, Fodor. Hey, Chief, you know those great banners I make for the show every single week?
Yeah, I just saw the new one, the Thanos one.
You know how I'm creating those banners?
I've got an idea, but why don't you tell everybody?
We're using Fodor. That's right, Fodor Web, an online photo editing service. You can edit your photos. You can do collages. You can design your own banners for everything that you do in your daily lives, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, whether you're creating that banner or poster for maybe the work potluck. You can use it. You can do it all on Fodor. They got some stickers. They got stickers. They've got animations. They've got tools for you to be able to take your creation to the next level. Transparency tools, background templates, you name it, Fodor has it. The graphic design feature of Fodor Web is a one-stop shop for marketers, bloggers, and social media aficionados. Hey, that's us. Allowing anyone the ability to create their own graphics content and share on social media. This Fodor Web has been a top developer awarded by Google and Facebook Messenger, has received media coverage from BBC, Lifehacker, and many more. Not only can you use Fodor on your desktop, both your PC and your Mac, but you can also get the Fodor mobile app on iTunes and the Google Play Store, iOS and Android. So go to www.fodor.com today to download Fodor, and we're going to give away 5 this week. 5! 1 month free pro accounts for Fodor.com. That's 5 free pro accounts. You get all the stuff for free for a month. All you got to do is go right now to Twitter, twitter.com. Find the tweet for this episode and leave a comment.
So first 5 comments
First
get
5
the
comments. First 5 comments, get it. And you will get 1 of 5. 1 month free for Fodor.com.
Nerd Rage Renegades.
All right, so coming back to Mad Cave. So Mark's the CEO of the company. He owns he's the Vince McMahon of this company. So
That's great. Oh man, he's gonna love that one.
Now the question is, when he walks in the office, if he does like the McMahon swagger as he walks into the office, you know?
Oh, he has some swag to him.
Yeah, something with that chair.
Did
Kinda
he
has to be.
did he finance this whole thing himself?
No, we
Starting
have sorry, he put some. We got investors.
Okay.
It was mainly like investor driven company.
Because I'm looking here, because Mark is the CEO, Chief Creative Officer. Laura, I know, there's a little chick over the O. I don't want to mispronounce her last name. Shakan?
Yeah.
Okay. It is the COO. We have Cecilia Medina, who's the CFO. That's the Chief Financial Officer. Editor-in-Chief, Giovanna Orozco. I know that one. I served with an Orozco in the military. I know that one.
Okay. Got that one right.
I got that one right. From really with all of you guys, it seems like a great team of people, because as I'm reading, especially as I'm reading Battlecats, one of the things, and you had touched on it earlier when you spoke about, now that you're with Diamond, going back through, cleaning up the books a little bit, Mark going back through saying, let's elaborate a little bit more on this. What I really enjoyed was, I'm seeing a lot more with bigger comic books, is that the editing isn't as good as it should be. You're reading a word bubble and you notice that the editor kind of missed something, as you read it.
Yeah.
And I did not see any of that in these books. And I love talking from a quality standpoint, the quality of the paper, the quality of the cover, the covers are just fantastic, because so much today I'm seeing covers where I'll hold the book, I'll take my hand away, and there's a thumbprint because of the way the inks are on it, or it's not a glossy cover.
Yeah.
So from a marketing standpoint, as far as looking at your books, I love the way they look, because they're professionally done. I love the way the paper is. So massive kudos to the designers of the books.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you pass that on. Massive kudos, because it's something that I feel has been lacking in mainstream comics. So knowing that you guys are having the standard of quality is fantastic.
No, exactly, and I think that when you're talking about professional quality books that have this editing thing, I think it's a product of like double shipping and getting the book out as fast as possible, and you can only do that so much without something slipping through the cracks.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah. There has to be a give and take, and there has to be time and care put into a book for it to not have mistakes. And even then, like, sometimes they get through.
Oh.
Yeah, stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
It does.
We're all just trying our best.
Now let's talk about being that you're the social media manager. Let's talk about some of your guys' web presence out there. Starting off, first of all, where we connected was on the Twitter. You're very engaging on Twitter, and I constantly, like every day, I see you putting up stuff about Battlecats and Midnight. How have you found it to engage with these people on social media, to get people on social media involved and interested in the product? We know what it's like. You mentioned how it's like face-to-face at a convention. What's it been like trying to get the online presence going?
The main thing about social media marketing is getting organized. That is the main thing. Finding out what you're posting a day, what kind of posts are you making a day, also experimenting, seeing, that post didn't get as much as game as this post. Why is that? It's a whole process to it, and I think the main thing is getting organized and also being creative. There's something about having some story elements in the description or in the caption, and something that can hook person in just going through a Twitter scroll, and you're like, oh, that it also helps that our art's really good.
Yes,
it also helps when we can just pull a panel and it's just like, oh, that's an amazing panel. What is that?
Yeah, I would definitely stop and look at some of these covers. I mean, I've seen some indie books that are just like, but I would a lot of these covers look beautiful, man. Especially like I said, the Knights of the Golden Sun. I would definitely, that would catch my eye immediately.
Oh, and that's what we're striving to do. And and for social media, engagement is, it's a little hard because there's always that privacy barrier, or that there's not that connection you have when face to face.
Right.
But there's more of okay, we can at least talk directly to this person. There's no blocking this, even if it's not face to face. We can still be like, oh, you commented on our post and actually said, oh, like, this is awesome. When can I get this? And we can immediately respond and be like, you can get this here. Go to your local comic shop. But we always stress, go to your local comic shop, because that's
the way to be.
Yeah, another big part of comics is the community. That's how you find new books. That's how you gain lifelong friends. That local comic shop.
Yeah, I've been going to mine for over 20 years, the same way.
Yeah, I've been going to mine for 10, 12 years now.
Always support your local comic shops, everybody out there listening.
And you always also have, of course, the Mad Cave website. Mm-hmm. And there's also, it says battlecats.com. It's right here. And when all you listeners buy issue 1 of Battlecats, because I know you need to go back and buy it because you need to read this. There's battlecats.com, which has biographies of the characters, talks about the regions of the characters. And you're also on, you like you said, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Yeah. Now, also, like you said, you've got in with Diamond, so that means your books are in. Are they in previews?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that means. Yeah, they're in previews.
That way people understand that.
Yeah, that's how comic book shops order books, is through previews, and yeah, we got into Diamond, and that's basically the rub.
Yeah, and I put that out there because a lot of folks don't, like, we understand how book, you, me, Chief, we understand how they get the books, but a lot of, like, those casual comic book goers may not fully understand. So this is what I say to all you guys listening out there. If you want to get Battlecats, and if your shop, they may not stock it yet, go get previews, find the books in previews, find the order number, and put that order in with your shop. That way you can start getting the books, and then, like you said, show it to the community that's at the shop, so then the shop will start actually purchasing it for the store to put on the shelves.
If you like it, spread the word, everybody. That's how things get done.
Yeah, and even on our social media, we always push the order code and push people to the shops and be like, hey, you talk to your shop order, because a lot of people also just like go to shop, get their books, and then leave.
Yep.
And that's such a waste, I think, of a good comic shop.
Oh, I never. I'm always in there. My wife is so mad at me because I just disappear for like 3 hours, and she's like, "Where have you been?" I'm sitting in some long boxes, looking around.
I will have, me and my shop owner, we'll have philosophical discussions in there,
Yeah, it's that a good comic shop, like a barber shop. It's sort of that community hub.
Yeah,
except
exactly.
for more dirty people.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I love it.
Yeah, and that's yeah what we try to do, and even like Alex, our PR manager, he's actually like he always reaches out to retailers, and that's the other part of the equation of an indie comic book is reaching out to retailers, seeing what we can do for them, seeing if they need promo materials, they need posters, they every Saturday we actually shout out a retailer that we sort of have a relationship with. That's every Saturday on our social media channels that we want to, because we want to give back. And that the comic books market is really the only market with a direct market. You really, there's no really other industry quite like it. It's very weird and very, there's so much, directness with it. There's so much, creators aren't that hard to get a hold of.
Yeah. And with like Twitter, I mean, there's access to creators is crazier than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Tell him to reach out to Richmond Comics in Richmond, Virginia. Tell him I sent him. Tell when he calls and talks to Tommy, tell him I sent you.
Got it.
And the reason why I say this, I know like my shop has a section that's all indie books.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got their own section. They're separate from the mainstream. That way people can come in and they can see the indie books right there. And if you guys got posters, I've got wall space. I would love that. I will put it right next to Deadpool the Duck here. I have wall space for a Battlecats poster if you got one. But definitely, and that's just between us. I will be more than happy to get you guys in contact with my shop, and I'm sure Chief has no problem getting you guys in contact with his shop.
Oh, yeah.
So at least there's two other shops that you guys can put on your list.
Hey, no, this is stuff like this and our retailer outreach and through social media, a lot of retailers hit us up and they're like, oh, hey, like what is this? And that's getting ourselves out there is like getting into shops. That's what we want to do. And
they may have already. Mine's a franchise now. It used to be a privately owned shop called Tomorrow Was Yesterday, and then a company called Top Cut bought my shop. Same people work there, same store and everything, but they're owned by a different company. And they may already. I'll check, but they may already stock. They stock a lot of indie stuff, so it may already be in there. I'll go check. If it's not there already, then I'll make sure that you guys get in touch.
No, and we'll definitely get in touch. That's what we want as many we want our book out there, and because we think it's quality, and we also think it will bring people to the shop. Because there's a lot of people looking for good indies. There's so much superhero fatigue is happening now, and there has to be some good indies out there to support. And there's a ton of good indies.
And we've seen Image just like crawled almost to the top, there, right up there with Marvel and DC. They're almost not the big two anymore. It's almost the big three these days.
Pretty much.
So I mean I still dig it. I'm still an old school superhero guy, but I do dig indie books, and I have noticed that the rise of the indie book is definitely people are getting tired of the same old reboots of superhero stories. Marvel and DC rebooting all the time, every couple of years. Sometimes Marvel twice in the same year reboot. But and the people are tired of that, and they want indie stories. So we've kind of seen the rise of the indie books over the last few years.
No, and even that, even like the big two, like some of the most critically successful aren't the big event books or the Captain Americas, or it's the smaller stories like Gwenpool or Spider-Gwen, or these they're basically kind of indie stories masked as superhero books.
Right. Well, Gwenpool was great. It's more of a comedy book, but it's funny and it's good. Yeah. I love that book.
Yeah, it's funny, and I love how much there's so much imagination in that book too, like the way her powers manifest, and there's good. And see, that's a book I don't think Marvel would publish like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, no way.
No way. And that's all because people want to break away. People they want to try something different. Sometimes not as much, but at least there's some experimentation happening. And that's all comic books really need, is that imagination and that experimentation and someone to try something new.
Yeah, well said.
Very well. Now you guys have already you've got this year you've got Emerald City Comic Con under your belts and of course C2E2 under your belts. You've got Florida SuperCon coming up in July that you'll be at, correct?
I have to check. I think we might have. We might not be going to that one. At least not the whole entire con.
When is Emerald City? When's that? When does that start?
That was March.
It was March. Oh, it was bad. I was like,
yeah, that was.
I never get there. I know. My buddy goes there. Adrian, our buddy Adrian goes there.
Okay.
And so I didn't know when it was, so I would have told him to stop by, but next year.
Next year. No. Our next con that we're going to is New York City Comic Con. That one for sure. We're going to be at New York City.
Now,
actually, Hunter said he might go to that one too, so I'll tell him anyway.
And our friend, the third official, the official third Renegade, who's not with us right now, Panda, is usually at that one. If she goes this year, we'll make sure she stops by and says hi. Now let's say like you got the big cons covered. What if a smaller con wanted to have you guys at their convention? Would they contact the PR manager? Because I know, especially, that's money that you guys got to spend to come to a con.
Yeah.
You can't do every single con, but what if a con like a smaller con did contact you? Would you guys be good to go with that, or just it would have to be how the money looked?
Since we're still like an independent company, and we're still we have investors, but we're still funding it ourselves, and we still like that. Our money has to be carefully attributed.
Budgeted, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We understand that. Our con travel is the same way.
And everyone knows, like, cons, they cost money.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when we're like, we have to ship stuff, and we have to build the booth, and it's a whole lot of things that goes into it. I mean, we're open to it. We definitely are, and especially as we're expanding, we're adding more people to the team, like, pretty much every day now. It's kind of crazy. And as we expand, we're definitely going to reach out to more, because that's the con scene is where it's where it makes connections with customers. It's where we can physically show them the book and be like, hey, check this out. Oh, this art's great. Like, you should have this book on your shelf. And we're open to it, and we've been contacted before, but sort of like, as of right now, it's sort of like we have to look in the big picture and be like,
and
case by case assessment, I would assume.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially, not only you guys got your books coming out, but you've also got a couple hardcovers that'll be coming out this year.
We have trade paperbacks, not hardcovers.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the Battlecats trade coming out in July with Midnight #1. And we have the Midnight Trade, which comes out. Should have had this prepared.
It's all good.
I believe it comes out in November.
We're loose, man.
No, it's fine. I think it comes out in November. So we have trades coming out. So like right in time for New York City Comic Con, we're at those two trades.
Okay.
And we're at launch of Nights.
Is
before Christmas, everybody. Think about that.
Will the tome of Valdaria also be around the same time as the Battlecats trade?
Since I give you guys the media kit, basically, we've changed our strategy for the tome.
Okay.
The tome is actually gonna probably be out next year.
Okay.
With the launch of Battlecats Volume 2.
Okay.
So yeah, we moved it up because it sort of caused some things we wanted to work on more. Basically, building the world more. We wanted that product to be especially perfect because it's sort of our guidebook and our sort of world building. Like,
it's the history of that whole world.
Basically, it's a testament to like the 5-6 years that we've been creating this world.
Right.
So we want that to be as perfect as possible and to have the launch that it deserves, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. We were talking about this last week. We were talking about with Doomsday Clock. They were going to push Doomsday Clock back like 2 months or something. And people were upset about that. And I said, hey, I would rather they take their time on it and make it good than release it and it sucks. So I mean, that's the way to do it, if you ask me.
And I asked about it because, of course, you had the preview for the tome at C2E2, which I'm absolutely in love with. I mean, and it reminded me of the Warcraft Chronicles. I don't know if you've seen those that I think Dark Horse has been putting them out. The big tome of Warcraft that explains that whole history. So I'm really excited for that when it does come out. I'll have that pre-ordered. Don't you worry about that. Because I want to read these. I want to read the lore and the stories and things like that, because that's what I love. Is like I said at the beginning, I played World of Warcraft for years, played the game and everything, but I still went back and read the books and the the online things, because I want to know the history of this world that I'm reading about or that I'm playing or I'm into. I want to know everything. I want to know how it started, how these gods came to be. So I'm really excited about that. And if I got to wait a couple extra months, I don't care. I'll still have it. I will still have it pre-ordered, man. I will still have it pre-ordered.
Thank you, man. What the tome reminded me of, because I play. I'm the resident D&D guy.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm the resident D&D guy at the office. And so I'm like, yeah, it's an adventure book. It's an adventure module. It's that world. It's that D&D core book, that the world book.
Yeah. We're two old D&D guys ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. I have I just had this right on my shelf. It's right next to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why when I saw the book at C2E2, and I mean, it was almost like closing time at the con when I stopped by. Because we were running like chickens with our heads cut off at that convention. For anybody who wants to hear about our adventures, we have a 3-part trilogy of that. Go back a couple episodes, you'll see the 3-part trilogy of the C2E2 adventures. But it was like I saw that your banner, and I was like, I looked at him. I said, "Hold on, I gotta stop."
A testament to how cool it is, because we were zombies at that point, and it stood out. It caught our attention right then. So good on that.
So so as you listen to this episode, as we start winding down, listening this week, if you're listening today as this episode drops, Battlecats number 4 is out. Now, if the shop did not get let's say the shop did not get the book, okay, how can our fans still get a copy of this book? Can they go to the website, or?
First of all, I would say talk to your comic book store owner and tell them to get in contact with us, because we definitely do a lot of we work with comic shops all the time directly, where it's just like, oh, I missed the date, or or we sold out and we need extra copies, and we're more than happy to work with them directly. And always go through your local comic shop.
Yes.
Yeah. And most guys in the shop are going to be cool. I mean, some people might be intimidated. Like, some people just getting into comics might be intimidated to talk to the guy at the comic store. I know I've seen people do that. Yeah. Most comic shop guys are cool. Everybody, just go ask them and they'll help you out.
Yeah, talk to them directly. Our books are on Comixology and Drive-Thru, so there is no online way to do it. But again, we stress local comic shops.
Local comic shops. Because I need issues 3 and now 4 when it comes out. I need issues 3 and 4.
I'm 43 years old in June. I'm an in-person kind of guy. I'm not a real online kind of guy. I barely can get this computer on and talk to Spin every week. So, I mean, that's my way to go. The younger generation likes the digital, but go out and talk to somebody, people. Get out and talk to somebody.
So, if they want to follow Mad Cave, of course, Twitter is at Mad Cave Studios on Twitter. Give us the rest of the social media locations.
On Facebook and Instagram, same thing, Mad Cave Studios.
All right.
I guess there's a website, madcavestudios.com. There you could find a hub to everywhere, basically.
What's on the? It says I also saw a YouTube channel. What's up on this YouTube channel? Is that being built, or?
That is currently we're planning out the strategy and actually our first kind of project that's going to be on the YouTube channel. Right now there's a trailer for Battlecats. It's sort of get you in the mood for Battlecats. Our first show, quote unquote, is a Mad Cave Minute, and it's sort of like introducing the titles providing character stuff and story stuff, and actually showing physical books. That's going to be soon on our YouTube.
And, of course, as always, if you need us to help you get the word out about anything, all you got to do, send us a message. We'll help get the word out about Mad Cave, all the new stuff that's coming out as my dog goes barky bark in the background. This time it's my dog, Chief. It's not yours. It's mine.
For once.
Yeah. But, hush up, boy. But if you need anything, you just let us know. We will get the word out through our channels as well.
No, yeah, totally. Same here. If you guys ever need anything, we're here.
We love indie books. We love indie creators. We like to help out where we can. If we can help you out, let us know anytime.
Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight.
Thank you guys for having me.
We want to thank Chris for joining us from Mad Cave Studios. Definitely talk to your comic book stores. Get Battlecats. I cannot talk enough about how great this book is. I mean, and if
he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. We met him at C2E2 in person, and he's very cool. He gave you the books. He's like, here's what you read these, and then get a hold of me. We'll get him on the show. And he's very good about keeping in touch and being cool.
Very cool. So before we get out of here, real quick, we need to do our little GTA talk, and of course our streamer of the week. And this week we are giving it to. The stream of the week is being given to the one and only, the ones that started it all for Chief and I.
Yeah.
We're giving it out to the Djibouti Show.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm telling you, I got to give my rundown of my story of how this happened. It was Thursday night. As everyone on Twitter that follows me and Spin knows, I have been sick as a dog with the flu for the entire week, and I'm feeling better tonight.
You're sounding good. You're sounding good.
I'm feeling better. I'm getting over it, and I said the show must go on. But it's actually, when you're hearing this, it's Wednesday, but this will be last Thursday. This happened. Sick as a dog, feeling like I want to die. I'm laying in bed, nothing on TV at all. I can't find anything to watch, and I get my alert for my Twitch stream pops up on my phone, and I said, "Oh, Djibouti's on." I forgot Djibouti's on, so I turned that on, feeling horrible.
And originally it said it was Larry Kravitz. They were going to do the realtor.
It said Larry Kravitz, and I was like, "Oh, well, that character's okay."
It's funny that character's funny because you got Classy normally with him.
But it's just Larry on his own. I was like, I'm gonna watch this because it's the only thing on. But I'm sick as a dog and I just don't feel good, and I'm just gonna try and go to sleep. I turn it on, right, and they're sitting there and they have a couple technical difficulties with microphones or whatever, and then Justin just says, "All right, we're going with Jerry," and they did Jerry with Damon as Craig, RPing together for the first time.
Oh,
and I cannot thank the Djibouti Show enough. That made my whole night. I was sick as a goddamn dog, and it just made my whole night. I lit up like holy crap, they're doing Jerry and Craig tonight. This is the greatest thing ever. This is the best thing that could have happened.
How long have we been saying Jerry needs to come back? They need to do Jerry again.
Well, we were just talking about it when we did that. I said, man, it's like they do all these other characters. They got so many, and it's like they hardly ever get back to Jerry, and it's like, just out of the blue, Jerry and Craig. I was like, oh my God.
And finally we get Craig. And Damon killed it as Craig.
He was great. As Craig. Well, the fact that him and Justin have been friends since they've been kids, that lends to that relationship between them because they're both just giving each other shit the whole time.
And what was so great about this, now, a lot of the people on the Family RP this week have been playing Conan Exiles because it's the new game. And, of course, they're going to go play this new game.
Which looks very cool. Nothing against Conan Exiles. I want to get it.
It looks fantastic. The problem is I like watching the VODs on that one because, when they're just building stuff or doing their inventory, I got to fast forward a little bit through that. But when they're actually role-playing, it's
I did watch the Milton one where he was making his dick real big.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny.
The Ding of the North, which apparently last night Djibouti got on Conan last night and joined the Ding in the North.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he joined the Ding in the North. But so they did Jerry and Craig, and it was classic Jerry, the smooth, sexy cyclone of the South. He kept Jerry what Jerry is. He mentioned Dee Dee. He mentioned Captain Pete.
Yeah.
That the winds were. He's like they're all.
He took him to the sacred place of the winds. He took him to the gazebo.
And Craig punched him on the sacred ground, so he had to get welded. He had to get hit with the torch.
He took him to the waters of the east too. He made him take a bath in the eastern
sea breeze.
Yeah.
And he mentioned this is Captain Pete's land, and he was like, we don't, they disappeared, but I'm still here holding down the winds and everything like that. And I think a lot of the characters like Ada Clark. Now, Ada Clark, who is Solificent on the server, I think she's kind of new, so I don't think she's ever met Jerry. I think a lot of the people that he ended up interacting with that night, other than Mason and Tora, had never met Jerry.
Oh, the Toro reunion was fantastic.
Oh, the Toro reunion. What I really loved was he asked
Jerry throwing his Mac down.
He was throwing his Mac down, and then he's like, we need to exchange cards. And Tora puts her card in Jerry's pants pocket. Like, she took the card and actually didn't hand it to Jerry. She put it in his pants pocket for him. And here's my thing. Here's what's funny about that. Is the fact that Jerry was the minister for the wedding of Tora and Andrews.
Yeah.
But he's still trying to cuck Andrews and get to Tora. And Tora, I'm gonna say this. Tora loves Andrews. We know Tora loves Andrews. But I think she wants a little bit of that Jerry, because she always acts like she plays coy.
She said she's gonna come get some beans again.
Oh, she's gonna get them beans, girl. And I thought it was funny because they have that other character, Jerry, the mechanic for the cops.
Oh yeah.
Jerry.
I'm Jerry.
Yeah, he's like, nope,
Well,
I'm Jerry. I'm Jerry. Yeah, my beans. They're not his beans, they're my beans. Oh, and then
as Bill Ding says, Jerry the janitor is an outdoor cat.
Yeah, he's an outdoor cat. I think the only other one, the one that I know, I think Hotchkiss. No, I don't know who does Hotchkiss. I don't know.
Hotchkiss.
Yeah, I don't know who's playing her. I don't think that's Proxy, and I know it's not Herona, because I think Herona does Trooper Copper. So I'm not sure who does Trooper Hotchkiss. But it was so. What I loved was Mason getting back with Jerry, because Mason knows Jerry gives him shit. Mason knows if he's around Mason knows the only cop that Jerry respects is Andrews. Every other cop Jerry will give so much shit to, and he gives shit.
He kind of likes Bayo. He just gives Bayo a lot of shit.
Well, remember Bayo. He still wants all that money back from Bayo. Remember, Bayo made him give him all that money when Bayo. When Bayo was deep undercover to take down the Lean Boys. He got Andrews to have Jerry give him all this money, but as far as cops go, Jerry, he gives him shit, but he respects Andrews. He respects Andrews like nobody else. He'll still cuck him and take his wife, but he respects Andrews. But Mason's the other one who's known Jerry the longest, but Jerry will give Mason so much shit. It's not funny. The best one was like, sleep with your mama. What'd you say, Jerry? I said, thank God for Obama.
Thank God for Obama. It's like you just said that out of nowhere.
I was dying. I was laughing from beginning to end, man. Come on, Jerry. Come on, Jerry. You ain't got no girls.
Your big head. I like my favorite part of the whole night was when they went to the hospital and pretended they were doctors.
You got all this glue in his mouth. Who put all this glue in his mouth?
We're in my hospital. Calling it his. The guy was like, "You're not a doctor."
Dr. Jerry.
Yeah, this is my hospital.
Dr. Jerry, we gotta help him, Doctor. Dude, Damon killed it. I loved it that Damon's still learning all the mechanics, and Damon's that new player on the server that punches everybody because he doesn't have things keybinded yet.
But it was the perfect thing that he drove, because he's Craig, because he's a dumbass, and he's Craig. He drove around with his brakes on his bike all night.
Craig is a dumbass. And what I loved is Jerry and Craig are punching each other in front of people, and nobody will stop it. Nobody says, "Hey, you guys gotta break it up," because
two homeless guys beating the shit out of each other.
They know it's Jerry and Craig, and I guarantee you, when Andrew shows up and meets Craig, Andrews will probably be like, "Jerry, this is Craig? Yeah, fuck Craig. He weak."
Craig got sniped in the back of the head by an NPC character.
I got hurt, Jerry.
I got hit.
I got hit in my arm, Jerry.
Oh man, so Djibouti once again reclaims their crown as the kings of RP. Starting out with Joe Mullet, and we heard in that stream that Joe Mullet will rise like the phoenix.
Joe Mullet will be back, and I can't wait. Especially now, I kind of learned the guy that I said sounded like Rando is actually Thaddeus. It's the guy who sounded like Rando is actually Dazzler.
Oh, they found out who he is. Huh?
Well, I don't know if that's really the guy who did Rando, but the guy I said sounded like Rando is Dazzler's.
Yeah, they said they thought it was Rando when they were on the stream, and they didn't know who it was. So they found out who that guy was.
Because you can't have Joe Mullet without Rando. You gotta have Rando.
He's gotta have his freaks. He's gotta have his traveling freaks.
Well, he's got Rando, and I really wish that Prex would get on Family RP. If you remember, Prex is the girl that hung out, that worked with Joe Mullet on the very first one we ever watched. The one that Joe got arrested, and then she came back and they started working cons together.
Yeah.
Judy. Judy.
That was got pulled over. Is that the one of the very first one where she got pulled over and he's filming it, going busted?
Yeah, that one. Judy Pancake. Judy Pancake.
Were you dad? That's trying to make me do work.
Oh man, but yes. So streamer of the week is going to be the Djibouti Show. Make sure you go give the Djibouti Show so much love. And I do got to thank. I did not catch his name. But I gotta thank the guy, whoever you are. It was like Rage something, so I kind of liked it because they had Rage in the name. But I was watching one of Milton's workout streams this week, and Milton, he works out, then he talks to the chat, and I told him I just started working out again over the last year. I've lost about 30, 40 pounds. Gained a little back right now, but I'm working to get it gone again. And then I was a disabled vet. And Milton's like, dude, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for your service, because that is freaking awesome. He's a vet, too. He's a vet from the Canadian Army.
Canadian, but...
And then, all of a sudden, I'm typing something else in the chat, and I notice I have this little martini glass next to my name. I'm like, how the fuck did I get a martini glass? So I scroll back up the chat, and I notice someone had gifted me a sub to Milton's channel. So for a month I get all the emotes, and I don't know if I lose those emotes once that month is up, but at least I got a month of emotes for Milton. So I get all the lady glue and building ha chants I could want for a month. And so thank you.
Yeah, I think they do go away after the time, because I let my Djibouti last one time, like for a day. I didn't realize it until I logged back on. And because I went on to watch, and I said, where am I emoting? I can't find anything. And I looked, and it said up in the thing, it said subscribe. Like I had to go back into my Amazon Prime and find it and resubscribe. Yeah. But it didn't take my months away. It still said a 9-month subscriber. It doesn't take your months away, but it does take your emoticons, I guess.
So Djibouti Show joins our list of streamers of the week, joining Kitten Queen Gaming, Peachy Coaster, and Disby Erics as our streamers of the, in the list of streamer of the week. We'll bring you another one next week. But
don't neglect Milton. Everybody who hasn't seen Milton, go check out Milton T. Pike 1. Milton T. Pike 1 on Twitch. Go watch any of his building stuff, and you will die laughing.
Building and Kiki Chanel. You got to put in Kiki Chanel on that one.
The building busing is one of my favorite things in the world.
Kiki Chanel, who identifies as the Transcontinental Railway.
And is pregnant with Dazzler's baby.
Pregnant with a Dazzler baby. And I have decided when my pay comes in next week, I'm getting another shirt. Because Disby has an Okie Dokie T-shirt.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna buy that. But once again, we want to thank Chris for joining us from Mad Cave Studios. Please go check out their books. And once again, thank you to our sponsor, Fodor. And remember, as I said in the ad, we have giveaways. What you got to do, if you want, we're going to give away 5 this week. 5. 1 month free pro accounts for Fodor.com. That's 5 free pro accounts. You get all the stuff for free for a month. All you got to do is go right now to Twitter. Twitter.com. Find the tweet for this episode. and leave a comment.
So first five comments
First
get
five
the
comments first 5 comments get it. And you will get 1 of 5. 1 month free for Fodor.com. And I will tell you, Fodor, it is amazing. Chief has seen what I've been creating with this thing.
Yeah. And we're going to be doing this for a few weeks. So if you miss out the first week, try again the next week. We're doing it more and more.
Exactly. We're going to be bringing it to you. So at this time, Crystal's going to tell you all the platforms that we're on every single week.
The Nerd Rage Renegades are on the air every Wednesday on Podbean, Stitcher, Player FM, iTunes, Google Play, and every Thursday on GamingRebellion.com, Filling the Void Podcast Network, and now iHeartRadio.
You can follow Chief at SpaceChief75, of course, me at the NRDRG Renegades Twitter. For all of you, that's the Nerd Rage Renegades Twitter, so you can comment and get some free stuff.
That's right.
Everybody loves the free stuff. Also, make sure after listening to this, come back tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, come back tomorrow. If you're listening to this any day after Wednesday, just switch on over and go listen to Renegade Reviews, which I want to thank everybody who's been listening to Renegade Reviews. We've been having some great numbers on those shows, some great downloads on those shows. People are really enjoying Renegade Reviews.
Good.
Go listen to that as we bring you more book reviews from IDW, Boom, and DC. And
soon you may hear it on Comic Shop Radio if everything goes as we're thinking.
Exactly. So, until next time, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Be good to one another. Be good to your comic shops. And as LeVar Ball would say, never lost. I'm never lost.
Good night, everybody.
Nerd Rage Renegades.